What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Let's give some people some time to get into the room. Let me make sure my microphone is on for TikTok. Sorry, I should have did this. I should have started. Next time I'll start the TikTok first. But you know, this is a situation where I got to get used to going live again. Yeah, I have to get used to going live again. Hold on. This is actually the TikTok. I was going to do Instagram, but I'm a little sour towards Instagram right now. I'm actually very sour towards Instagram right now. Back in like November, Instagram deleted my account. So even on my Instagram, I'm working on a new account and I don't like it. I don't like the fact that they just deleted my account with no prior warning. They didn't tell me why they deleted my account. So that's just something I'm dealing with. Allow me to drink some coffee, y'all, because I will be working all night. With me, I have to get used to going live. I have to get used to going live. I have to get used to getting in front of a camera again. Because what most people don't really realize, I haven't been on camera. I've been kind of like MIA and doing a lot of self-development and a lot of personal things. I've been doing a lot of these things since, you know, I've been doing a lot of personal inner work for almost I want to start saying almost 2 years. I want to start saying almost 2 years. So let's give some time for some people to get into the room before I start. Let's give some people some time to get into the room before I start. The reason I want to give some time to get people into the room before I start is because there's so much good information. There's so much good information that I'll be putting up that I want people to actually have time to didn't even mess to get it together. So give me a second. Give me like 1 more minute. And then, you know, I'll start talking, I'll start flowing, and we'll see where we go from there. I don't know what I'm doing wrong with the app, but I have a monitor here, and I have my screen here, and I have my screen here. And what I want to do is, and I want to be able to talk on both. But I'm getting ready to start on this live. We're going to see what videos I can get together on the future YouTube videos. So we're going to talk about some of these. We're going to talk about some of these topics, and I'm real excited. So when you see me look this way, I'm looking at TikTok. TikTok, I'm looking at you right now. When you see me look this way, I'm looking at YouTube. And I think ultimately the goal is to just get back into the routine of going live consistently again. Because to be honest with you, as far as like consistency, I haven't been consistent in like a year and a half, maybe since like, I don't think I've been on live or in front of a camera, whether it's radio, television, really since 2023. I think I took all of 2024 off. And then I started, you know, trying to get back in a rotation back in 2025. And now it's kind of like the time where it's like, you know, let's just hurry up and make these things happen. Shout out to my guy, London GH. I see you on TikTok. Shout out to London. London, I'm in the United States. I'm not in Ghana right now. I'm not in Elmina. I'm not in Ghana. I'm not in Elmina. I'm in the United States. And I'll probably be here for about a year or so. I don't see myself coming back to Ghana. I don't see myself traveling again to maybe this time next year or maybe Christmas, New Year's 2020. I got a lot of things that I need to take care of. So let's make sure that we stay in touch. Let's make sure that we stay in touch. But you'll see me online a lot because I'm just going to get my momentum, get my flow back. All right, let me make one last. Right now, I'm in New York. You know, I'm a New Yorker. I'm from Harlem. I'm a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker from Harlem. Hold on. I'm a New Yorker from Harlem. I'm in New York. New York. New York. I am in New York. I'm from New York City. I'm from the city. A lot of people, they say they're from New York and they be like upstate New York. They be from the suburbs. I'm from the city. If I ever showed you a picture of like what it looked like outside my house, it's like what you see on television. If I opened up my window right now, you hear sirens and all that stuff. All right, if you're coming to New York soon, look me up. Let me know. Hit me on the inbox. Let me know that you're coming to New York, and and I'll definitely meet up with you. I'd love to take pictures with you in New York. And I'll bring you to my gym. I'll get you a gym membership. You can either use my guest pass or we could really do like a real gym membership. All right, so let me get my notes together and then let me start with this live. And then from here, once I do this live, I'll if it's a good live, I'll cut it up. Meaning if I speak well, I'll cut it up. And then I'll repost it. If not, this should just go back on the just getting me to go consistent. The goal is to actually go live. Either go live or have a video. Either go live or to produce a video behind the scenes. 3 to 5 times a week. And then hopefully going into September, October, especially by the new year. Last comment to London before I start the video, start the content of the video. I have to have foot surgery. I had a foot injury back in like 2003, 2004. So I'm scheduled to have surgery in October. That's one of the blessings that I'm gonna talk about in this video. Part of the good reasons I'm back in New York, I have healthcare that I can trust. I was always worried about my healthcare in Ghana because I've been scammed healthcare wise in New York, trying to go to private facilities. I've been scammed in the past in America for going to private facilities, so I never want to go in Ghana. Yeah, this is my New York apartment. This is my Harlem apartment. This has been my apartment like I think 16 years now. So I'm home. Like at night I sleep in my bed. In America, in New York, you can rent forever. If you want to. Once you rent a place, they really can't throw you out. So what's up, everybody? Rashad McCrorey here. Today's video, 10 shocking truths that I've realized once I moved back from the United States to Ghana. For those who don't know, I lived in Ghana from 2020 to 2025. And I haven't moved out of Ghana, but actually what I've done is I've realized the benefits of living a universal, a global lifestyle. So now I have one home, I have one apartment in Ghana, and now I'm back at my first home, my real home in the United States. Some people may be offended when I say real home, but now that I'm back home, I'm sleeping in my bed. I'm sleeping in the bed that I bought all them years ago. I'm in an apartment that I first got a lease in 2009. Now we're in 2025. These books that I've accumulated these books, and I threw out a whole ton of books back in 2019. I'm home. I'm in my place for the first time in almost 5 years. I've been home once. About in 2022, I came back to New York, back to this apartment. I came back to New York for about a month. So since 2020, I've been living in Ghana pretty much exclusively. And my time in Ghana, I did a lot of self-healing, a lot of self-work. A lot of people put a lot of pressure on me because they wanted me to do more on the outside. But I think ultimately when it came down to it, I understood the assignment. I understood that the assignment kind of meant like, you're supposed to be doing work on your inner work. You're here to do inner work first. What people don't understand in a lot of areas in life, I'm not talking about one individual place, is that you really can't help other people until you help yourself. And it's usually people who focus too much on the outside. Those are the same people who don't necessarily have that inner fulfillment. Some people, people like to talk about empaths and things of that nature. how empaths get taken advantage of, and a lot of other things. But sometimes we have to understand that we have to take care of ourselves first. Self-care is the best care. And whereas on one side of the mountain, I understood the assignment that I came to Ghana to heal first. A lot of people think they want to go to Africa and have like that Jesus complex where they always taking care of other people. I understood my personal assignment is I had to go and travel to heal myself first. And I had a lot of healing to do. And as we go into this top 10 list that I'm putting together, the lessons that I learned, I think I talk about them in like number 3, number 4, number 5. The lessons that I learned, I realized I couldn't see my real change until I left my African environment, because that's the environment that I went to when I had things that I need to work on. And then sometimes just pretty much everywhere, when there's things that you need to work on, the people that you're around when you are dealing with your personal issues or you're dealing with the things you try to transform for, they also want to keep that label on you forever, especially when there's hate and jealousy involved. I was dealing with things in 2024 in Ghana and even up to 2025 in Ghana where people was like, well, he did this in 2020. They wouldn't say 2020, but they'd tell a story from 2020. So we have to understand that sometimes when we change, when we develop, when we grow, you're not really going to see those real results until you move into a new environment. Or sometimes people won't see your change until you're gone for so long that you come back as a new person. And, even in that situation, maybe I have to move to another state. Maybe I have to leave this apartment that I had since 2009. A lot of people, they were surprised I kept my apartment all these years, but I understood the assignment. I understood the assignment. So before we go into the lesson, and I talk about this for 20, 30 seconds, the list that I'm going to go through now, this is kind of like a rough draft. I'm talking to TikTok. I'm talking to YouTube. TikTok, YouTube. TikTok, YouTube. And I'm a little sour. I could be using this phone and have Instagram over here, but I'm still upset with Instagram. So I'm kind of boycotting Instagram and Facebook right now, but I'm going to have to take them off. This list that I'm going to go through now, and we'll see how long I go through this list, but this list that I'm going through now is actually a training that I'm going to be putting together where I'm going to be doing it more formally and more organized and structured very, very soon. It could be something I could do this time next week, and I'll put it together and I'm going to have people pay for it, and people are going to have to pay to actually see it. So for you to be able to see this now on either live, if you're watching, or the immediate replay, or something that I put in my YouTube members only section, understand that this is kind of like exclusive. This is in the future. This is going to be exclusive. And if you want to join my, my Move to Africa community, because we talk about moving to different countries in the African continent. We talk about dual citizenship in Ghana. We talk about current events. I'll be sending you trainings, free videos, and a lot of other good gifts. You can click the link. If you're on TikTok, click the link in the description in my profile page. If you're on YouTube, click the link in the description. It'll take you to where you can get your free gift, which is the first chapter of this book right here. How to get dual citizenship in Ghana. The free Understanding Dual Citizenship chapter. Oh, let me do it this way. You get the first chapter of this book, How to Get Dual Citizenship in Ghana. You get the first chapter in this book, How to Get Dual Citizenship in Ghana. If you're on TikTok, all you have to do is press the link in my profile. If you're on YouTube, all you have to do is press the link in the description. So the 10 shocking truths that I realized once I moved back to the United States from Ghana, and again, disclaimer, I'm living a global lifestyle, dual citizenship. It's called dual citizenship. And soon, maybe one day I'll have multi-citizenship, but it's called dual citizenship, meaning that you're a citizen of multiple countries, in this case 2, at the same time. So just because now I'm choosing to be in my American apartment for a certain amount of time, don't let the rumors start in Ghana. Oh, Rashad left Ghana. He gave up. Or back in America, oh, I thought she was going to be in Ghana forever. No, I leveled up. I understand. I have both. I have both now. And I might have got distracted again, but here's my American passport. My American passport is crazy right now. Here's my Ghana passport. Here's my American passport. Here's my Ghana passport. Here's my Ghana deed. I have land in Ghana. Nobody in Ghana knows because I ain't open my mouth. I ain't tell nobody. But here's my Ghana deed. And I just have this together for advertisement I'm about to do when I get off the live here. And I have a whole bunch of stuff under it. I can't say junk. You want to check out my other book, Repatriation, Tips and Strategies for Moving to the African Continent? You want to check out my first book, Stuck in Africa? Just click the link in the descriptions and eventually you'll find them all. Here's my dual citizenship. Ministry of Assyria. My certifications are inside. So nothing I tell you is a lie. In the book, How to Get Dual Citizenship in Ghana, I discussed thoroughly how I got my dual citizenship. I got mine through a government initiative. I knew the right people. They had favor on me. I'm very grateful. But I teach you the other ways to get dual citizenship too. Let me sit this right here. I want to sit it to here. Patriation, check these out. So back to what I was discussing before. The first thing that I learned when I got back to the United States is I learned gratitude. It really came to me different. And this is not Africa's poor, American rich. You should appreciate your American life while before you left. No, we're not talking that type of gratitude. The first level of gratitude that I received was, I've been in Ghana so long that I forgot who I was in the United States. I forgot that I did have a family. I forgot that I did abandon people. I forgot that I had great relationships. I forgot that I had an amazing routine. I'm back in my American routine now, and I'm like, I was winning before I came to Ghana. It's one thing understanding that you leveled up. But a lot of times when you level up, you already starting from a certain level. After some time, my identity became so much. The Black American, the African American, I say African American for YouTube purposes, but I've been using the term Black American since 2015. For those who don't know, I am FBA, Black American, born and raised in Harlem. Parents are from South Carolina, grandparents are from South Carolina, great-grandparents are South Carolina, great-great-grandparents, 7 are from South Carolina, 1 is from North Carolina. That's my lineage. I actually forgot that I had a good life when I moved. Not to say I didn't have trials and tribulations, but I had a great life before I moved. I had have a loving family. Yes, I was just going through a terrible separation and I was in family/divorce court. Yes, my father passed away in 2019. Yes, everything wasn't sunny and rosy, but I've been traveling the African continent since 2015. My mom is still alive. My mom is healthy she'll be 78 or she'll be 79 in September. At the time that this video is being recorded, it's August 13th, about to be August 14th. My mother's healthy. I have a good family. I have friends. One of my friends came to visit me when he heard that I was back in town. He drove all the way from Connecticut to surprise me. And he called me, he was like, I'm downstairs. And no homo, pause. But when he looked me in the eyes, he was so happy to see me. He was so happy to see me. And I realized this was one of the first authentic interactions that I've had in 5 years that wasn't transactional. That was somebody who knew me from childhood. Me and him met in the 4th grade. Somebody who knew me from childhood, through my high school years, through my adulthood, who as a friend truly loved me. I was with my family members who truly loved me, who truly cared about me. And I knew it in my mind that I was neglected of authentic love, or neglected of history, of stories, of shared experiences. I understood that when I was in the African continent, when I was in Ghana, but it didn't really hit me. I see down here it says just Pam I want to change something on the thing. Yeah, I realized that, I'm sorry, I'm doing something on YouTube real fast, that I was really neglected of authentic love. And I think that's something that kind of touched me. And even now, as I encourage people to live a global lifestyle, I'm still going to be encouraging people to travel the African continent. I'm still going to be encouraging people to move to the African continent. I have to now refine my message to help people understand that first, take a look at the blessings that you have now living in the United States. And again, I'm not talking about running water. I'm not talking about electricity. I'm talking about the relationships you have. What exactly are you going to be leaving behind that's positive? That's positive. I'm not saying stay in drama. I'm not saying stay for things that are handcuffing you. But I'm asking you to say, okay, what are the blessings that I'm leaving behind? When I decided to move to Ghana during the pandemic, for those who don't remember, or those who just need a recap, I just happened to be in Ghana when the coronavirus pandemic broke out. I got to Ghana late February 27th, 2020. The pandemic really started hitting 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th March. And then instead of going back to the United States, I stayed in Ghana. So technically, I didn't even plan on moving to Ghana. I just happened to be in Ghana and I saw an opportunity. I knew I wanted to move before I left the United States. I didn't know when I was going to move. I didn't say, oh, this is the end of the road. And thank God, because if I gave up my apartment, I would be like sick right now. Because no disrespect, I'm not trying to play. I'm just being honest. I don't have the money to get a real apartment here right now. I'd have been living with my mom, or I'd have been living with my sister right now. I'd have been coming to visit. I'd have been thirsty to get back to the United States. I'd have been thirsty. Yeah. So, what in your American life, or what in your current situation, even if you're in Ghana, what in your current situation will you be leaving behind that you genuinely may not be necessarily appreciating? This is not a lesson to kind of teach people to be stuck in their ways or look through any opportunity to stay and to take that leap of faith. Sometimes you got to leave things you love behind. But what exactly that you may be taking for granted that may help you understand your situation better? These are things that we need to understand. Again, I had a loving family. I had loving sisters. I had a lot of friends. Before I go to the next one, which is kind of piggybacking on this one, but I really, you know what? I'm gonna put this one in number 2. Again, this is the trial. This is me just talking through these points, and then I'm gonna eventually, thank you for the love on TikTok. I have the full screen up, so I don't really see what's going on YouTube right now. But thank you for the love that I'm seeing on TikTok. I really appreciate it greatly. Number 2. So number 1 was gratitude. Number 2, acceptance of my real life. This is number 2, acceptance of my real life. Again, this is similar to number 1. I had to realize that a lot of people in the United States love me. I had a great life in the United States before I moved to Ghana. Again, this is carrying into number 2. When I do the official teaching, this is the lesson that I'm going to sell. So you're getting it for free now. I'm going to format it properly. I'm going to record it nice. And I'm going to package it and I'm going to sell it to people in the future. You're getting to listen to it now for free. I realized that I was living a great life in America. I was traveling the continent. Let me tell you, I moved to Ghana in 2020. I just told you a few minutes ago. I was in Ghana when the pandemic broke out, and I decided not to go back. When I left America, I didn't say I'm leaving America and I'm not coming back, or I'm leaving America and I'm moving to Ghana. I said I was already in Ghana on business, and I said I'm going to stay. Let me tell you what my 2019 was like, despite the other hardships I have. Like I said, my father passed away in 2019. One of my best friends betrayed me, very heartbreaking. I got my, I was in family court, but my life outside of that was pretty tough. When I say tough, I mean like, I was killing it. Even in terms of travel, in 2019, I was in Ghana, obviously. I went to Egypt. I went to Kenya. I went to Rwanda. I went to Amsterdam, and I went to Turkey. Amsterdam and Turkey was layovers, but I still spent days in those, a day in those countries. My business was blowing up. 2017 to 2021, my business was thriving and strong. I got too complacent. We'll talk about that later. But I got too complacent and I didn't format my business properly. Probably similar to what Dr. Umar is in trouble with. He just never had the initiative to straighten itself out. If I was getting that much money, all my problems, I would have got them straightened out right away. By the time I made a couple, I don't want to talk about Dr. Umar too much because I think what might wind up happening, and we'll see, and I don't know how he's going to recover from it, and I don't know what all these other YouTubers are going to say when it actually goes down, is that it's a possibility he might come up with the money. Then what are people going to say when he come up with the money? Or if it's in the Dr. Umar, I'm not necessarily a fan of every black hero always just being smeared. Maybe I'll do a live on it. I've never donated any money to Dr. Umar. Me and him talked business once. Unfortunately, it didn't we talked business during the pandemic. Ultimately it didn't come together, unfortunately. But it hurts me that Michael Jackson died with pedophilia allegations. It hurts me that Bill Cosby is going through his allegations. It hurts me that, Dr. Martin Luther King allegedly had orgies. It hurts me that Malcolm X, they're trying to say he lived the alternative lifestyle. It hurt me that every black hero is always being smeared. Why name a clean black hero? If Dr. Martin Luther King, if Facebook and social media was around in the 1960s, whether you agree with desegregation or not, Dr. King would have never had whatever Dr. King agenda was. I'm drinking coffee, y'all, because I'm going to be working all night. I'm going to be pulling the all-nighter. So I'm getting a little bit off track, but why we always smearing, why every black leaders get smeared? Because it was the 1960s, Dr. King would be finished. Dr. King would be Derek Jackson right now, bro. It'd have been like, the scandal of the millennium. Imagine if a Dr. King sex tape, an MLK sex tape would have dropped in the middle of the 1960s. That would have been crazy. It would have been crazy. So number 2, I had to learn acceptance of my real life. For some of you, it may be bad. For some of you, it may be good. Upon my return, I had to remember that before, the reason that I was clothed in gold-plated jewelry or fake gold, I don't know. Gold-plated jewelry and robe and given a title and named chief of tourism in Ghana and been on all these news and all this different stuff, which I appreciate, which is me, and I accept it wholeheartedly. It's me. I love it. I deserve 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 it. I also had to remember that it wasn't like I was a bum off the street and somebody just picked. People try to make it sound like you was a bum on the street and they just picked you up and blessed you. Lessons learned. Lessons learned. Black Americans, diaspora, when you go to these African countries, they may not have nuclear bombs. They may not have the strongest armies in the world, but these is master manipulators and master tricksters. I'm not saying it in a negative way, but they're very sharp, they're very shrewd, and they will play you. And then they already the ground is already laid to be manipulated because you're coming in open thinking it's a welcome home where sometimes you're a fool. I remember the old viral video that I had when I was talking about dating in Ghana for men and women. And thank you for the love, y'all. Thank you for the love on TikTok. When I was talking about 5 lies in dating, and this one was for the women, 5 lies that African men tell American women or Ghanaian men tell American women. I had to tell them, make sure that you're not the business. They tell you they need money for a business. I tell them, make sure that you're not the business. Make sure them telling you that they need money, that's not the business. That's the business. You got to make sure that's not that's not working. It's a thing where, and then on top of that, I could be a little dense sometimes. I've come a long way and I'm gonna continue to develop myself with that. But you got to understand, you're dealing with people who are very tricky, especially when you was dealing with my tribe, the Fanti tribe. And these are not necessarily bad traits. These are survival skills. These are not things that you necessarily say, oh, he said this is bad. These are great qualities and great skills. If you don't have the muscle, you have to use the mind. If you don't have the muscle, if you don't have the muscle, you have to use the mind. And sometimes they can't out finance you. They can't out muscle you, but they can out trick you. So you have to understand that you be out some places so long, you forget who you were. We like to, as FBA, as Black Americans, we like to talk about how much we've lost. Our history was lost in a lot of cases. It showed, especially after decades and centuries. I'm sure, I'm in New York, so I'm sure TikTok could hear the motorcycles in the background. YouTube, I have a filter. My mic is right here behind the thing. I have it hidden on YouTube. You can see my mic clearly on TikTok. Well, this is the mic. This is the TikTok mic. This is the YouTube mic. You get caught in a situation, and over time, I'll stop being distracted about stuff like that. But over time, you'll forget who you are, or you're gradually kind of, I don't want to say believe the lies or think that people made you. And not to say that people made me, but you start to identify with your new self and then you forget your old self. And for some people that's necessary, and for some people you need it. Some people it's necessary to forget the old you. Some of you have to forget the old you. But a lot of you, probably more than you think, need to remember who you were before you go somewhere else. And people try to tell you you're not who you really think you are because you're probably beyond that. So a lot of times you have to accept your real life. A lot of times you're not going to see your growth and development until after your changes in a new location. Sit on that for a minute and let me repeat it for a minute. Sometimes you may leave for growth and development because I don't necessarily believe the first chapter in my book, Repatriation, Tips and Strategies for Moving to the African Continent. If you're on YouTube, you can click in the description. Repatriation, available on Amazon. If you click the link in the description, you'll be able to find it. For TikTok. What you would, the first chapter is wherever you go, there you are. Like Jay-Z said, wherever you go, you are who you are, player. There's so many other, quotables that go with that. I'm sure I wrote it in this book. I wrote this book in 2022, y'all. A lot of times changing your location is not enough. Sometimes changing your location may at minimum, or changing your location may just give you an opportunity to change. But the location itself won't change you. Yeah, I'm going to tighten that line up. That's a good one. Changing your location won't change you. It just gives you a platform and an opportunity to change. But the move itself will not change you. The move itself won't change you. These are things you have to remember. But if you go somewhere damaged, if you go somewhere needing to change, you might not be able to see your full change until you go to another place after that. Because again, people are always going to try to remember who you are. And if you're going somewhere long enough and then you go back, a lot of people are going to try to start gradually pulling you back. I'm going to start remembering stuff that you don't even remember no more. You don't know if they're telling the truth. You don't know they're lying. Let me check something real quick before we go to number 3. That's not, hold on, y'all, because honestly, oh, I didn't even mean to, I guess I'm a little unfortunate. I guess for some strange reason on YouTube, the wrong live came up, which sucks. I wish the right live came. I may start the YouTube live again. TikTok, don't worry. I'm going to continue where I'm going from, but I may want to change the live again. YouTube, I'm going to switch the live. I'm going to turn off the live stream on YouTube because I don't know why YouTube did it this way, but it put up the wrong title and it put up the wrong thumbnail. I actually have a custom made title and thumbnail. Hold on, let me see if I change it real quick. TikTok, forgive me, y'all, because this is really a YouTube stream. This is really a YouTube stream. This was meant to be a YouTube stream, and then I said, let me throw. I was going to throw Instagram on, but Instagram deleted my account back in October 2024. I don't know why they deleted my account. I'm actually very I'm still distraught about it. I have 55,000 real followers. Nah. Nope. It's showing me that. Hold on. But why is this? Something's wrong. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop the stream then restart this. I don't know if I'm gonna start the stream and restart the stream or not, because if it's somebody on YouTube right now, what is the title of this live? What is the title of this live? Because it's showing me the wrong live on my studio app, but it's showing me the correct live on the it's showing me the correct live in the YouTube studio. Hold on, y'all. Studio mode. Do I need to go in studio mode? Forgive me, TikTok. Forgive me, TikTok, because I was just starting to get into the flow. I should have never had went to I should have never. I feel like it's a mistake on YouTube part. I feel like it's a mistake on YouTube part. TikTok, do you have any questions? Yes, dear friend of mine told me this about the Gambia. Told me to come see for myself, so I won't. Are you still on? Are you still online? Oh, Samaya, how are you? Samaya, I remember you, Samaya. How are you? I think whatchamacallit. I think my YouTube is messed up. Yeah. Okay, I see what I did wrong. It wasn't totally wrong. The title was wrong. All right. Okay. Let's see what happened. Let's see what happened. All right. So I figured out the mistake that was going on YouTube, so now I don't feel bad anymore. So give me about 30 seconds, and then I'll be back on the proper. I'll get back to the live the way it's supposed to be. How do y'all like my background? Is my camera good? Is the lighting good? Is this something that I can keep together? Is this something I can keep together? Tell me what y'all think. Tell me what y'all think. Don't worry, y'all. This is the second time I've gone live this week. Let's see if I could go live again tomorrow. And I'm starting to figure out like how I like my lighting and stuff like that. I know I could have a lighted studio, but the reality is I wish my studio was darker. To me, this is even too light. I really want to learn. I'm going to have somebody come and help me one day. I want to learn how to have I think I have all the lights and everything, but I want to have the dark background where it's just me that's lit up. That's ultimately what I want. So let's go to number 3. Happy endings. This one is a little different. This is kind of like something that I understood. I learned in Ghana, and now that I'm back in the United States, it was kind of more of a like, oh yeah, I have to take this into account. Happy endings are an American movie Hollywood thing. The hero always winning is a lie that they tell in America. What I've learned in Ghana, what I've come to see in the United States is that villains win. Villains fight each other for supremacy. A lot of heroes and a lot of good people died, lost a long time ago. And now we're down to 2 villains fighting for supremacy. I've learned that people die without reaching their dreams. People live lives of struggle. I've learned people change. People that you figure will get it right one day, never get it right. People who have potential, their life crash and burn. So what I started looking at to myself was areas in my life that I want to succeed in. I have to really step it up to succeed in that area. Areas in my life. Thank you so much for the love on TikTok. I really appreciate it. I love the emoji love. Thank you so much. Areas in my life that I was always hoping that I hope I get this right one day. Dreams, people, opportunities. Rashad, let it go. And maybe you'll be blessed to kind of get like some relief on certain things, but let it go. Not all endings are happy. It's one thing forgiving yourself. One lesson that I learned was understanding when, sort of sigh a big deep breath. Okay? Understanding that sometimes you have to know that you did your best with what you was working with. Why is TikTok sending me ads while I'm on live? It's distracting me. A lot of time I'm looking at YouTube while I'm looking at the camera. sometimes I have to understand, and I've learned this a long time ago, but it's reinforced different now. And I try to stay on track without getting distracted. But I had to accept that sometimes you can do the best with what you know. Being able to doing your best with what you're working with, a lot of times is good enough. And you have to accept that some things you just need to let go. And to learn some of these lessons in Ghana, then to have them come to play when I come back to the United States, it's a blessing to have had that time in Ghana to learn those lessons, now to implement them and to elevate my life in the United States. You know, I've come back and it's like, well, you know, that's something that I really wish didn't turn out so bad. And I'm remorseful and I'm disappointed at the outcome, but I did my best. It's time to let it go. And a lot of people are held hostage by the past. Even now, I hope I don't mess up two string by doing this. I think that. But the camera's falling completely. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, YouTube. That was a failure. Please don't make me get up and tighten. I have to tighten the screw. Sorry, y'all. I keep getting distracted because I'm not going live often enough. This should work better now. I can't even turn it up now. I'm gonna have to work with it. Wait. Hold on. I tighten it so much that I can't even adjust it anymore. Sorry, y'all. This is me getting used to going live again, so you have to deal with the growing pains. Sorry, y'all. If you like the effort that I'm putting in, make sure you hit the like. Make sure you like and make sure you like and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm messing stuff up. So pretty much, but at the end of the day, I think it did. I think it did a little better. I don't know. We'll see. Any questions? Actually, I'm not finished with that point. Sorry. Sometimes in life, you have to learn when to fight more. Oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't mess with nothing no more. Maybe I had everything right the first. Sometimes in life, you have to know when to let go. And sometimes you have to know when to keep fighting. Sometimes you have to let go in one situation. Maybe I should let go and just leave let go and leave everything where it's at. Sorry, YouTube. My YouTube is so mad at me, and I'm sure TikTok don't want to look at my elbow. But again, y'all, this is just me getting used to being live again. Don't worry about it. Like this. I don't like that really because there's certain reasons I don't like it. I don't like the thing under my arm, whatchamacallit, too much. And I'm doing it the wrong way. Any questions? Because ask your questions now. So please ask your questions now while I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah, ask your questions now. And I'll look at some of these answers when. Anybody have any questions before I go back into some of these things we're discussing? Any questions, any comments? I'm about to go on to the next. I'm about to finish this point and then go into the next point. I've been on live 50 minutes. That's good because it don't feel that way. No, it says everything is cool. Can y'all hear me on okay, so everything looks cool. Everything looks cool. It'll sort itself out. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been out to Gambia. I'm actually in really good negotiations. I'm actually in really good negotiations with some organized things in Senegal. I'm actually in some good negotiations for some things in Senegal. And anytime Senegal, and everything that I want to do in Senegal automatically, anything that I want to do good in Senegal automatically transfers over to Gambia. It's a little difficult because Senegal I actually have Wolof lessons on my I'm actually learning Wolof. I'm actually learning Wolof. But TikTok, why do y'all see them TikTok University advertisements? I hate that TikTok is doing advertisements on my live. And it's distracting me. Do I have any questions on YouTube? Is my sound okay on YouTube? My sound might not be right on YouTube. Oh, the Freedom Riders picture. Yeah. This is back during Obama Mania. I got this during the Obama Mania. Hello. I wonder if they can hear me on YouTube. On YouTube, probably not even. We'll see. We'll sort itself out. Everything will sort itself out. I would hate to have brought a used computer, had it refurbished, and left everything except one of the USB cords don't work. That would be devastating. This is coffee, yeah. Yeah. I drink coffee out of a straw most times now. So again, one thing that I learned in Ghana is that often villains win. Often villains win. I don't like this TikTok University thing popping up on my. I wish I could turn it down. Nah, I don't like the fact that TikTok, because it's distracting me. I'm gonna have to learn to ignore it. And leading into personal growth. In my notes here, I have that I'm stronger, tougher, and more innovative, and more adept to problem solver. Yeah, I'm talking about the TikTok University. Yeah, I don't like that. It's just distracting me. Like, stop advertising on my live like that. That's like kind of intrusive. Or if somebody click the link and leave me, then you're gonna punish me and say that they left the live. If they on my live and they click it and they join, are you giving me a cut? That's the question. Personal growth. I think I've been channeling the energy. I actually think I'm more I think I've grown. I think I've gotten a new level of emotional maturity. I've realized I'm much more compassionate. I haven't been home long, but I feel it in my spirit. I'm much more compassionate now. And I guess for some strange reason, I wasn't necessarily able to express it in Ghana the way that I thought I'd be able to express it in Ghana. But I definitely feel more compassionate. And again, it's not oh, Africa's poor and I learned to appreciate the poor. None of that really had an effect on me. None of that really had an effect on me. And maybe that was some of the issues that I had out there. But I feel like in my day-to-day interactions, I've become more intuitive. I can still be a little dense sometimes. Sometimes it takes me a minute to catch on sometimes. But I noticed that I read expressions more. I guess I see the stress more in people. And I feel more compassionate without being judgmental and without belittling people. And I think some of the relationships that I do have here in the United States when I meet people, I think it's a sense of vulnerability that I read in people, and people kind of and I think people I think it throws people off sometimes. I think it's throwing people off. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's like a superpower. And I don't even think I'm being like an empath or anything like that. It's just a situation where, unfortunately, oh, I could have did that one. I could have. All right. So maybe next time I'll use this phone and I'll go live on Facebook and do it for my Facebook group. Because this would have been a good live for my Facebook group. Going back to number 1 and also in number 4 that we're talking about now, when I talk about my top 10 list of shocking truths that I learned, you start learning that, I value my American role more than I did. I do finally sense that level of abandonment. And then to be in a situation where people are so supportive of me and helping me transition back to the United States, it's also a level of pressure that I feel that I can handle when the time comes that I continue to take on more and more responsibility. Because I don't know if it's just who I become in Ghana life, but I see so many opportunities in so many spaces and so many places where I'm being asked, and it's foreshadowing leadership roles here in the United States, and even something to where in my own community. And who how many people really contribute to their community? Everybody who contributes to their community, almost all of them are politicians. Who has time? Who has resources? Who has the heart? You get what I'm saying? Am I tripping? Am I tripping by saying that? Between family, between friends, I guess I didn't realize the void that I did leave. So what voids are there? Maybe I don't realize the voids I'm leaving in Ghana like that. I probably won't realize them now because how do I say it? Just because what's the word I'm looking for? Because I need to hit a reset button. When I left Ghana, all my IDs had expired in America. All my bank cards had expired in America. I had one account blocked. I had to come back and open up all my accounts. I had to come back and update all my IDs and stuff like that. you know, I'm going to stop telling people about the one. I don't know if I should tell. Let me ask y'all. In the last 5 years, before now, in the last 5 years, I was only in the United States once for a month. 3 years ago, I came home for a month. So when I say, should I say it's been 3 years since I've been home? Or should I just be like, yo, in the last 5 years, I was only home for 1 month? Or should I just be like, yo, it's been 5 years since I lived here? Maybe I could say 5 years since I've been here and I came home for vacation once. That's one way maybe I can kind of, you know, flip that. But there's still some voids that I have to fill now that I'm back in America. I have friends who miss me. I have family members who miss me. I have roles in my community, roles amongst my family, roles amongst my friends that I need to fulfill. And once I really get back on my feet, and when I say get back on my feet, you know, step one was getting all my IDs and all my bank cards and my finances back in order. At least getting the what do you call it? At least getting my systems back in order. And that's relatively complete. For some reason, I can't find my social security card. I got to find my social security card to get a new one. And there's one more ID that I need. There's one more ID that I need. But that's pretty much set. Now I'm getting my health in order. For those who don't know, I did get very sick, and I'll talk about that in another live. But that wasn't the plan. Obviously, I wasn't the plan. I wasn't sick when I left. I didn't know I was going to get sick. But the plan was to get all my checkups and everything. I'm 45. I know I don't look 45. I know I don't act 45, but I am 45 years old. So there's certain tests and certain exams that men my age are supposed to have. So I've done the not colon cleanse. I've done the colonoscopy. I've checked my prostate. I've seen my dentist. I've got my cleaning. I got some fillings. I got to get some root canals. Those are scheduled for November. I hurt my foot. I hurt my foot back in 2003. I've been avoiding the surgery over 20 years. I'm finally going to have that surgery in October. I'm going to be in a cast for 2 months, unfortunately. But these are part of the plans. I suffer from dry skin, so I saw the dermatologist. I have reading glasses now. Hold on. I have to be careful how I use this. I have reading glasses now, y'all. Because I need them. My teeth are white. You see how white my teeth are? Yeah. But I have reading glasses now. Hold on. You know, these are not bifocals. These are supposed to be for reading, so I don't want to mess up my eyes. But these are supposed to be for reading. This looks so, yeah. And when I do this versus this, I see how much that I need them. I have reading glasses and I need them. I learned that I wasn't necessarily slowing down. I'm going to try to leave these on. I'm going to keep my eyes closed. How do I look with my reading glasses on? Do it look like if I wore glasses, I'll look nice in glasses? If I got like some stylish glasses, would I be a handsome man with glasses? Let me know. So I got my reading glasses. Like I said, I need 2 root canals. One of them they're saying like get it as soon as possible. You know. What else? Thank y'all for the gifts. Thank y'all for the gifts. Thank y'all for the likes. I appreciate that greatly. I really do from the bottom of my heart. You know, these are the things that, that we have to do. I'm seeing a orthopedic, and I'm getting therapy on my knees because I'm having foot issues. The foot is leading to my knees. And then it's different because in Ghana, everything is rolled, everything is dirt road or soft with tar, natural land. Here in New York City, everything is concrete. Everything is concrete. So it's taken, it's pretty harsh on my body and my body's not used to it. So I'm seeing all the doctors that I'm supposed to see. Like I told y'all, I don't think I have trouble hearing, but yeah, it let me know like, no, you're not slowing down. Your brain is not. A lot of people, they need glasses. A lot of people you think are slow or they think they aging, they slow. No, like you just need glasses, bro. You probably just need reading glasses. I've gotten all my blood tests. So, those are other good things. So I'm getting my medical in order. Let me get back to the list. Let me get back to the list. But you know, those were the things that I knew I had to kind of like check up on. So that's where I'm at on my journey right now. I'm continuing to get my health in order, and then now I'm balancing getting my health in order and restarting and revitalizing my business from the ground up. Because like again, I'm not totally on the Bash and Umar bandwagon. I just feel like I don't know how much money he collected. I don't know his plans or the reality of the situation, to be honest with you. I'm not quick to jump against the person yet. But what I would say is sometimes you probably made enough money to where you could have already made up for your mistakes. You couldn't spend 1 month fundraising just to make up for like old stuff with that much money. That's a question that I have. Like that, like you could have made a lot of that up by now with how much you was collecting. You know, you could have took, you know, that means you was, if, you know, whatever it is, you was chopping a lot of money. They say, that's what they say in Ghana. You was chopping a lot. Like they say, oh, you think you're taking off the top. You was taking too much off the top. And then you needed a better excuse to get it. You know, like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm still on the edge because deep down inside, what I spoke about earlier, I'm tired of all Black leaders, all Black celebrities, all Black role models always having a fall from grace. You know, like I don't know how many stand up. They're always trying to, they waiting to pin some violent outburst temperament on Denzel. They just waiting for him to scream on the right person. Good thing for him, he's always screaming on men. Let him scream on a woman one day. They was waiting. I don't know. I guess he slid. I don't know if he really kissed the man in Gladiator and they cut it out or not. All right, I'm looking for my notes on the thing. I don't know if he really kissed the man in Gladiator, but they looking to slander any Black entertainer, any Black activist, any Black politician. They ready to, anybody who looks good in a role model for a Black community, they're looking to slander that person's legacy, Black, white. I mean, not Black, white, male, female. They're looking to slander anybody. Any and everybody is looking to be slandered or killed. Oh, and again, sorry, y'all. I don't know. Sometimes I can't find my apps. All right. So we were talking about self-awareness. I found my app. We were talking about self-awareness. And no, we were talking about personal growth. Next is self-awareness. So personal growth leads into self-awareness. So I think in America, I think right now, whether it's our community, everybody want to talk about being stronger, being tougher, developing. But when are we going to acknowledge that sometimes being softer is a skill? That sometimes people are too cold. We're being taught there's an agenda out there that's asking our society, that's been going on for years now, that's asking us to be more heartless, more cold. And I've come to the conclusion that when it comes to love, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to people, I'd rather learn the skill of, thank you for the share, Queen. I appreciate you. I'd rather learn the skill of how to be hurt and recover than how to be cold, not to be hurt again. That's a decision that I've made. Let me repeat that. I'm on my Dr. Umar now. Let me say that again. And even some of these ideas, like I said about an hour ago, I'm saying some of these things to as I put this into a real more grounded format, and I turn this into more of a training. But I've come to the conclusion that I'll rather learn the skill of healing from having my feelings hurt, healing from having a broken heart, healing from disappointment, healing from being let down, rather than being cold and not feeling. Too many people, unfortunately, I don't like saying too many people, but I don't like saying too many people. I just want to acknowledge that a lot of people, I don't like making assumptions, but help me figure this out one day. There's people out there who prefer to never love again, to protect their heart, to not say be a fool. Don't be a fool for nobody. Don't fall for the same tricks and the same traps. But people tend to say, I would rather not love again. I would rather be cold. I would rather be afraid. I would rather not take a chance. And this just isn't love. This just isn't relationships. There's people who would prefer that than, okay, the old saying, it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. I'd rather love and lose than to not love at all. I'd rather have a friend who says something that hurts my feelings, then get over it and forgive the friend, and then have joy of that person's friendship again. Sit on that one for a second. Sit on that one for a second. Sit on that one for a second. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, share it, whatever. I don't know why my let me check something out on my. If you're looking at the YouTube and you see like typos, that's not really. I don't know. Those typos are not really there. I know it's there, but it's not in the it's not in my write-up. Let me put it that way. It's not in my write-up. Again, it's better to have loved and lost than to not have loved at all. I think I prefer to have an open, caring, to be an open, caring person, not a fool, not stupid, not naive. In some cases, being vulnerable is possible. Not ignoring red flags. Not being thirsty. I prefer to give, to be forgiving, to be understanding, and to have healthy emotions rather than being cold, being bitter, being angry. I've learned more balance. It was always either one extreme. Either I think it's 100% your fault and was very harsh and angry and mean to you, or I take 100% responsibility and beat myself up. I've learned to be more balanced. I always say I'm not a yes person, yes, no person. I'm not a this, that person. I'm a both and person. Any questions, any comments before we go to the next one? Number 6, patience and timing. Know when you need to strike while the iron is hot and when you need to wait. I was watching The Godfather, the one with Al Pacino, and Godfather 2 with Robert De Niro. You know when the guy has a thing in his cheeks and all that stuff, balls. I remember he left his girlfriend, he left his fiance. He was gone for about 2 years. And then he came back. And then they went to the scene where he saw his lady again for the first time in 2 years or whatever. And then when she was like, "How long you been back in town?" He was like, "A year." He was in town getting himself together, getting accustomed to being a godfather, new godfather in that case. But some things are not meant to jump back in right away. Sometimes you have to learn when to be patient and when to strike while the iron is hot. Some people are too patient. Some people are too often look for excuses not to get something started. Or the opportunity is right in front of their face, right for the taking. Somebody is feeling a certain way in that moment, and you let the opportunity pass you by. And then when you're ready, they're not ready no more. Some people, you got to catch them when they're inspired and motivated. I'm somebody, you got to catch me when I'm inspired and motivated. If I come to you with an idea, no matter how crazy it sounds, if I sound inspired and motivated, you got to catch me when I'm talking this way. Because if you don't, I might do it. I'll do it on my own. Or if I say, "Yo, we should do this," and it's something that your expertise at, I'm like, "Yo, I'll support you. I'll help you." Catch me, because you might say, "Okay," and then 3 months later, I'm like, "Oh, sorry," Then there's times in your life where you be more patient. Some people rush too much. In this world where everything is instant, we have to learn when to be instant and when to wait and when to be patient. And sometimes being patient could be 1 day, sometimes it could be 1 year. Sometimes you got to jump on something in 1 second. Sometimes that fleeting thought, that random idea, that random inspiration, you got to just pivot and let that carry you to through the next decade. Through the next decade. And sometimes, like when I decided to stay in Ghana and not go back to the United States, I thought about it for a whole day. I called my mother. My father had just passed away about 7 months prior. So I prayed, I prayed to him. No, Chris like, "You don't pray to me, you pray to Jesus." No, but I prayed to my father. I called my mother, and I called some people in Ghana who I was close with. And the situation was, the consensus, surprising blessings. The consensus was stay in Ghana. You'll figure it out. Thank God there wasn't no conflicting ideas. Then I probably would have stayed anyway. You know what I mean? Because I think I already made up my mind, and I was presenting it as this is what I've decided to do. And then I just got confirmations from everyone else. But That decision took a day because these were emergency times, emergency situations. Sometimes you need to sit and you need to take weeks, months, maybe even more than a year to make a certain situation. Sometimes we need to know when we need to take split second action and we need to take our time strategically, and everything come in phases. I know when I first got here in June, and even to today, when people ask me, how long am I going to be in the United States? I say, a year or two, because I already know that I won't know my next steps until I'm already settled in my United States life, after I have my foot surgery, after I'm sure my health is 100% taken care of, and whatever. This really something, really a spot on? Oh, that's a Nike check. Yo, I thought that was a real spot on my shirt. All right. So, excuse me, in future lives, I won't get this distracted. I'm gonna learn to ignore stuff that just keeps up in my head. But I don't know. I don't know my next. I'm starting to have ideas. I already see something. I already see a reoccurring theme, and I'm not ignoring it. I already see a reoccurring theme, and I already see some opportunity, and I'm not ignoring it. But the truth of the matter is, I don't know. The answer is I don't know. The answer is 1 to 2 years. I remember back when I started telling people that, and prepping people in Ghana, I was going to travel back to the States. I told them about 6 months, and I was hearing that 6 months is a long time. Bro, I've been here 3 months now. June, July, or 2. I've been here 10 weeks now. I guess 6 months. I could have did 6 months, but am I really going back to Ghana for what right now? I've been in movies in Ghana. I have my own show in Ghana. I have my own radio show in Ghana. I've been in movies in Ghana. I have dual citizenship. I could go back anytime I want. Thank you for those who helped me with that. I've been installed a king, a chief in Ghana. I'm a chief in Ghana. I know I have my responsibilities, but I still have responsibilities here. And my real responsibilities, I can't handle things that I want to do. Now that I know what I want to do out there, what I want to do on the African continent, I can't do it until I'm 100% straight here now. I was sent to Ghana. I was sent to Africa to get things organized internally so I could come back here and make the impact that I'm supposed to make. And then once I come back here and make the impact that I'm supposed to make, then I'll be given permission to travel. I feel like if I start traveling too prematurely, I might be in trouble spiritually. I feel like if I start traveling again too prematurely, because I think I stayed late, but I ain't stayed that late. I think I got stretched out a little bit more. Pause. Every time I close the app, I should have wrote it on my board right here. So let's go to number 7. Shout out to those who are here with us. Emotional resiliency. I've handled disappointment and conflict with a high level of maturity. And it started out in Ghana. I've handled disappointment and conflict with an extremely high level of maturity. And I'm very proud of myself. I'm very proud of myself. And we live in a world where they teach Black people not to be proud of themselves. I had a meme that I created. There's always some positive wording or a positive association with Europeans who are confident. They'll show you a confident European. They'll show you a confident European, and they'll use words in football like moxie. He has moxie. They'll take a confident black person and be like, he's arrogant. Celebrate your wins. I learned this back in like 2016, 2017. I went to I actually followed a lady. I can't remember her name for nothing. I learned this at a vision board presentation. And celebrate your victories. Have a party for yourself. Buy yourself something nice, not the splurge. And you know, I said, you say that to the wrong person. Like, oh, I'm gonna go buy this and blow my rent money. But no, but celebrate your wins. Acknowledge when you do well, even if you don't get the outside recognition. A lot of people are still broken. A lot of people in high positions are still broken people. You know how much discipline it takes to do an emotional inventory? You know how much it takes to do emotional growth? You know how much it takes for somebody to hurt you and to disappoint you? And you could really look and say, okay, why did that person do that? I know some things are, some things are, too devastating to come back from. And I'm not wishing that on anybody. But do you know how much power you actually get spiritually that you could bring into your reality when you show growth and understanding? When someone is wrong, when someone does you wrong and they're still immature, no matter how powerful and how old they are, you start running into 50, 60, 70-year-old powerful people who are just immature, bro. You start running into that. You start dealing with people who will just be totally unreasonable. And you're the one like, yo, I'm dealing with fools. Forget my language. Oh, that's gonna come. Yeah, but I'll deal with it. Like, you'd be like, yo, I'm actually dealing with fools right here. Certain people may have titles and recognitions, but these people are liars. These people are greedy. These people are just making poor decision after poor decision after poor decision. They got lucky here. They cheated there. But remember number 3, y'all. Villains win in the real world. Like it or not, villains win in the real world. This fool foolishly fooled everybody to the top. And now they're making decisions. Hey D, how are you? What's up, everybody on TikTok? What's up, everybody on YouTube? I didn't give Instagram or Facebook this live. How are you going to deal with that? But those who want to take their time, and actually grow, understanding that you may not get the recognition for growing. Oh, thank you for the gift. Thank you for the gifts. I don't know if I'm kissing at who I'm kissing at, so sorry. So thank you for the gift. Homie could be like, nah, I'm gonna take that gift back, bro. Yeah, sorry. But who are you? Are you willing to accept that in the real world, villains win? And to be on the moral high road, you may not get worldly recognition, worldly appreciation, worldly appreciation. Sometimes I feel like I have to be careful. Sometimes I feel like ever since I went to the dentist, I never got that right feeling back in my mouth. I don't know. It's weird. I gotta stop having these little interludes and just speak on Just keep speaking without my thoughts, without speaking my mind. That's another thing that I have an issue with. I speak my mind, which is good, but in situations like this, I need to keep my thoughts to myself. Who's going to be able to understand that we live in a world where bad people win? People talk a lot of stuff about Dr. Umar, but a lot of our influencers went from empowering people to low-key dating coaches and womanizers. A lot of our male leaders went from consistently providing powerful content to being dating coaches and womanizers. And I guess it's nothing, I don't know if it's anything wrong with being a womanizer, but you know, like, I don't know, the word womanizer is wrong, so yeah. But there's nothing wrong with liking women and dating a lot of women and sleeping around a lot, you know? Especially if it's freedom and you being protected and you're not misleading people and doing people dirty. But a lot of our leaders are being sidetracked. That's why I say, if Dr. King was around in the if internet was around in the 60s, they probably would have blew Dr. King up before anything happened. And then in hindsight, maybe desegregation was wrong for us. But are you willing to live in a world where you could be right, you could morally be doing the right thing, you could be trying to be clean, you could be trying to be fair, and you get taken advantage of and you get defeated by people who play dirty? I've experienced that in the past, in the long ago past. I've experienced that in the recent past, and it's going to be out there in the future. Do you believe that being able to sleep with yourself at night? Do you believe in spirituality enough to know that blessings will come back to you? That you may not get the worldly. I feel like pulling out the Six of Wands in my tarot cards. Do you really believe? Are you really ready to say, yo, I've lost this battle, I've lost this world war, but my not conscious, but my integrity is intact? I've made terrible mistakes, but I may not have been in my right mind. I forgive myself. I didn't know something was wrong. Now I know something is wrong, and now I do better. They didn't play fair. Do I just have the wrong rules to the game? Is lying a part of the game? Are you playing by the right rules? Maybe lying is part of the rules to the game. Do we know what the right rules are? Again, this goes back to number 3. I think we're on number 7 now, but this goes back to the 3. Only America is happy, and only American movies is happy endings. Only in American movies, 99% of the time, the hero wins. That's a fantasy. We don't think, we got so caught up in the fantasy of the hero winning of justice that we don't realize the heroes, the people on the right, probably lost centuries ago, thousands of millenniums ago. Maybe we are living in dark ages, but are you willing to say, okay, I could play dirty today, or I can lose to the people who are playing dirty, but as long as I play fair, I believe that there's going to be spiritual blessings later. I don't know what the blessings is going to come from, but if I go through things the right way, if I do things the right way, again, sometimes I wonder, do we even know what the right way is? But if with my level of understanding, with your level of understanding, this is the way things should go, Whether it was how you brought up, whether it's what you read, we don't know. We don't know. Or it's your job to find out. Am I willing to accept what's right or what's wrong? I remember somebody wanted to introduce me. Somebody wanted me to marry, not marry, but somebody wanted me to sponsor their 16-year-old daughter and told me, you know, she'll marry you when she gets older. And then you would have access to all this land and all this power and all this stuff. Not the people who I associate with. It's another group of people. And they were serious. But I was like, well, where I'm from, that's grooming. Oh, sorry. Am I back? Can y'all hear me on TikTok? But I was like, Dad, but where I'm from, in my level of integrity, that's grooming. But to them, that was a great honor that they bestowed upon me. That was a great gift that they were willing to bestow upon me. TikTok, my eye here look crazy. I guess it look crazy hearing. Can y'all still hear me on TikTok? Can y'all still hear me on TikTok? I guess the warning thing went away, so I'm hoping that you do. Let me check YouTube to see if I have any questions on YouTube. I'm surprised I ain't had no questions earlier. Any questions on YouTube? Any questions on YouTube? Any questions on TikTok? I don't see no questions on YouTube. I wish I had some questions. Anyway, I'm just having fun, y'all. All right. So no questions on YouTube. I'm surprised. I wonder YouTube just not sharing my live. I feel like YouTube is just not sharing my live tonight, but this is more for me to get used to talking. Not really for these purposes. Any questions, any comments? I'm in America now too, so they got me going against American streamers. Everybody want to talk about Umar. Everybody want to take down another I hate sounding like that. I'm just like, damn, bro, like it's bad enough I can't listen to Michael Jackson. Technically, I can't listen to Michael Jackson. Technically, I can't listen to R. Kelly. Technically, I can't listen to any bad boy artist. I can't watch the Cosby Show. I can't believe in Dr. King anymore. I can't believe in Eddie Murphy. I can't really rock with Shannon Sharp. I never really been a Shannon Sharp fan like that because I didn't. For me, it was so much pure entertainment that I'm like, dag, like he one of the few people that like I don't. He gives game, but I don't really feel like he be giving game, and I think he just be straight entertaining, like low value entertainment. I like high value entertainment. Even Stephen A. Smith, I feel like I could just be on some like. I think my battery might be dead. All right, YouTube, the battery died, so let me just switch up the Let me just switch the battery on YouTube. TikTok, I'll be right back. I just want to switch the battery on YouTube. I don't get to talk this. I don't get to talk this through with y'all. So if you're on if you're on TikTok, I'm coming back. If you're on YouTube, I'm switching the battery. So I'll be on in a minute. I'll be on in a little. It should be coming back on now. All right, y'all, I'm coming back. Any questions, any comments? Any questions, any comments? Let's go to number wonder if I put my glasses on, would I be able to see? I have to start getting used to wearing my reading glasses. Usually, so far, I don't use them, and I feel like I might only use them when I'm having trouble seeing. But maybe I could put them on before. I want to see if I could see it, if I could find it on my own beforehand. Cause I'll be looking for. I found it. I wonder if like I found it mad fast. Yo, it's kind of like how do I say it? Sometimes when you kind of realize like, dag, I really do need help. Have you ever kind of like felt like you didn't need help? Have you ever needed help? Have you ever not known that you needed help and then you actually got help and felt bad that you needed help? Like, it's like I'm still not used to understanding that I need reading glasses. Like, I might have to do just one therapy session, just one phone call to say that these are reading glasses. At least I don't think I need them in the real world. I know, at least having my reading glasses now, I feel smarter again. I didn't understand that. I felt like my brain was slowing down, and it wasn't really that my brain was slowing down. It was like I couldn't see, so it was taking me longer to process, but I'm still quick in my mind. So let's go to number 8. Hold on, y'all. Everything else, I just make the text bigger when I look at my phone. So number 8, I have more clarity on my priorities. I have more clarity on my priorities. What I think my benefits come from is that since I've been able to clear out my inner clutter, my inner dialogue, since I really took the time to figure out and to learn about myself, to heal my internal issues. But also remember, when I was on ABC World News in 2020, I talked about healing. When you focus on healing and you focus on transformation, it's not forever. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to rephrase it a little bit. When you focus on healing and you focus on transformation, healing and transformation doesn't take forever. If you say, I want to work on healing, and you take healing seriously, and you work on it, unless your life get cut short, it doesn't take forever. There's certain, not to be confused with something like drinking, where they say once you're an addict, you're always an addict. So you always have to keep in mind that one drink can have you relapse. That's just understanding that you need to have tools and skills to know what's going to take you back. Like for someone who's never done crack, you don't say to yourself, I'm never going to do crack again. No. But somebody who's a crackhead or somebody who used to be a crackhead, they should already understand that if they sober for 2-3 years, they should know when they get that temptation to take crack again, where it's going to take them back to. And hopefully I'm not belittling anybody or insulting anybody, or if I'm misusing this example. But I've never done crack. I will hope that I don't willingly ever do crack. Now, if somebody had a gun to my mother head or a gun to my daughter head and say, smoke this crack or I'm going to blow her, or I'm going to blow their head off, and I believe them, okay, that's a different situation. That's extreme, but that's a different situation. But I hope that I don't randomly just start doing crack. So doing crack is something that I would hope that I would never be a crackhead. But when you choose to heal from something to get back on track, when you choose to heal from something and you purposely go on the long journey of healing, eventually you will be healed. You may have scars that serves as reminders. And in some cases, you know, some things may not work anymore the way that they used to work. But does that mean that you're debilitated for life? No. So once you start to heal, it should then open up more room for other new priorities. And if it comes from a healed self, a healed perspective, you should be able to progress at a faster rate. Again, this top 10 list, I'm going to do a class. I'm going to do a training on these. I don't know if I'm going to have them all in one lump sum or if I'm going to break each 10 down. But this is me just going through each of them, you know, rather than being by myself, you know, I might as well. Am I by myself? Like, who knows? I can't see how many people are on YouTube right now. And I don't, and right now there's one person on TikTok, you know. Get some time to get my talking points together. Soon this is going to be a paid for class. And these are things that people are going to pay me to, you know, kind of discuss with them. So understand that these are some of the early teachings, early talking points, early me just going through my emotions, me going through my notes. I don't really have many notes. So sometimes I'm gonna have to watch some of these things and I'm gonna have to watch some of these things again and grab some of these, you know, voila moments. Somebody said that to me the other. You know, I have a home health aid. I have a home health aid right now. I love it. I ain't gonna lie, I love it. It reminds, you know, it's like I brought my kingship to America. God said, you know, supposed to have an aid. You get it through this government, you know. Number 9, appreciate the small moments. Appreciate the small gesture. Again, this is not, it's the little things that count. Like number 1, it's not the little thing. It's not, oh, Africa's poor, America's rich, you know. I've learned to appreciate the small moments. You never know when when you're happy, you never know when that moment is the good old days. You never know when a moment that you're experiencing is a moment that you're going to miss. You never know when the moment that you're experiencing is the moments that you're going to miss. So try to do a better job at appreciating the small moments, or really taking advantage and appreciating the moments that are meaningful to you. Comment, whatever. That's supposed to be a period. Sorry. Something else. Any questions, any comments? You know, since this is relatable to number 1, I remember like every once in a while, like every other day, I sit in my apartment. We're on number 9, appreciating the small moments. Sometimes I be in my apartment and I just look around, or I'm feeling comfortable, I'm feeling good in my apartment. And I just say, like a little kid, I'd be like, this is my apartment. And then I just take a time and I appreciate that moment. I appreciate a lot of these moments. I appreciate a lot of these moments. I want to appreciate these moments now. I don't want to live a life of fear. I don't want to fear that every moment is my last moment. I don't want to fear that any good time could be my last good time, because I definitely believe that our generation, those that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, that we're living, we're going to be we're going to be the second generation to regularly reach 100. I believe that we're going to be the first generation. I've even expanded from the first book. The first book, this book I was talking about longevity, quality of life. But I believe that we're really going to be seeing, I believe if you're in your 40s right now and you find a way to get healthy, you eat better, you sleep more. Another thing, I don't want to live like, I want to stop having FOMO, fear of missing out, FOMO, FOMO, fear of missing out. Because if I sleep more, take more time off to rest, take care of my body, not only do I think I'm going to live, God willing, not only do I think I'm going to live to 120, 110, 120, I think I'm going to have a great quality of life. I think I'm going to have a great quality of life. Not only do I think people who are 75, pushing 80, who still feel young and vibrant, I think that a lot of them are going to hit 100. That they're like, oh, I'm almost 80. I feel good. I'm happy. I'm all right. Like, I think that we're going to start seeing people saying, 100 is realistic. I'm only 20, 30. Let me take care of myself. A lot of 70 and 80-year-olds, a lot of people 70 and 80, they looking like 60-year-olds, Yeah. So appreciation of the small moments. Appreciate the small gestures. Appreciate the small learning opportunities. Appreciate things that other people resent. Appreciate that friend who doesn't have a filter, who may say things that hurt your feelings, but you can learn it, use it as learning opportunity. And even friends might be a loose word, but sometimes associating with people who don't have a filter is better than associating with people who have filters. Somebody with a filter will leave you with a piece of broccoli in your teeth, where somebody with no filter might be like, get that broccoli the F out your teeth. You look like go brush your teeth. Just because they didn't sugarcoat the way they said things. I need better examples, but yeah, I need better examples, but learn to appreciate the smaller things in life. Learn to accept people for who they are, good and bad. Sometimes you need that friend. Sometimes you might need that mean friend. Nas has a song, and I think Bokeem Woodbine just did an interview talking about the time when Nas mentioned him, did a song when his name was a title. He was afraid that Nas was dissing him, but it turns out Nas shouted him out and he felt great. He was celebrating. The song is Nas and Magic 2, the Magic 2 album. It's called Bokeem Woodbine. And he said Nas was talking. This is near the end when he was talking. And he said, when they be saying jokes, but they be real, you may take it like it's hating. When people say jokes or make sly remarks or insult you or say something hurtful, sometimes it's a blessing. It's a difference between abuse and somebody with no filter saying something that you don't see. Some of the biggest life lessons that made me a better person was somebody insulting me or saying something where I could say, "Dad, that's why people don't like that dude. He shouldn't have said that. That was unnecessary. He could have kept that to himself." But then it was like, well, if he kept that to himself, you wouldn't know that that's how people talk about you behind your back. So sometimes appreciate that hater. Appreciate that troller. Because they may be saying something real about you That's what Jay-Z did with Ether. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about this. And you're going to have somebody who try to deny it. But everything that Nas said about Jay-Z and Ether, and I'm a huge Nas fan, I was just talking about Bokeem Woodbine and Magic too. Jay-Z went out and tried to change. It wasn't until after Ether, almost immediately after Ether, that Jay-Z settled down with Beyonce. Nobody wants to talk about that. They want to be like, oh, no, Jay-Z ain't settled down with Beyonce until after Ether. Jay-Z brought Def Jam after Ether. Jay-Z stopped wearing jerseys and his hat to the back after Ether. Everything that Jay-Z, as much as Jay-Z ain't really separate from Dame Dash until after Ether. Jay-Z, and I'm a Nas fan, I'm Nas all day. Jay-Z took Ether, he was hurt, he was devastated by Ether. But Jay-Z then went back and embodied everything that Nas said about him in Ether and went out and changed it and upgraded his life and leveled up. So take the small things, take the little slick remarks, and think about it. Are they right? Or are they just hating? Are they lying? Not hating, but lying. Are they wrong or are they lying? Or are they pointing out the truth in areas that other people don't say to you in your face, or other people overlook your issues? There's a video that came out a few days ago or yesterday. I saw it yesterday. I don't know if it came out a week ago or not. But it was like the 7 times people try to tell Shannon Sharpe to leave young women alone. You know, of age women, you know, when you say young women, you gotta be careful. But to leave young women alone, especially in the United States where it's socially frowned upon. But, you know, all them people were saying it. He probably was like, man, listen, I'm in shape. I got money, I'm in shape. I can mess with women if I. And look, you know, he ain't got that same, you know, like I said, we in a world where they'll wait to tear you down. It's a, come on, you know, it's a lot of white people out there doing, European people and other races that are destroying their lives too. But why are they not being canceled out the way black people are being canceled out? Come on, why? Why? So when somebody says something slick, it's something unnecessary and it hurts your feelings, take a moment to say, where's the truth in what they said? Where's the truth in what they said? Somebody said something very hurtful to me today. And I've had this in my notes for like 2 weeks. Somebody said something very hurtful for me today. And instead of me saying, oh, I don't like that person, oh, F that person, oh, whatever, I said, okay. They said this. Now, who else may think that about me who hasn't said it? Who may like me and love me and be like, oh, that's just Rashad? And who may not like me because of that? I guess the person was saying that, I have to phrase this right because somebody might take this in the wrong. The person was like, I don't know, because I have to say it in the right context. I saw one of my friends. And I was walking. I was surprised to see him, and I said, hey, I've been seeing him on and off. Pause. I've been seeing him on, here and there, different places. And then he got up from where he got up from. He came over to me. He spoke to me for like 30 seconds, and he said something as he was walking away. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. And then he said some slick shit. Excuse my language. He said, I didn't think it would be this easy. Wait, what he said? What he said? What he said? He said, I almost thought it would be that easy. And I said, oh yeah. I was like, oh well, you're my brother, so you got to deal with it. And that was my first reaction of what to say. But at the same time, I was saying to myself, nigga, like, what do you fuck you mean? You know, but but I wasn't like, you know, but I took it as that's why people don't like you. I took it as my thing was, yeah, I'm your brother. My thing was that's why people don't like you, and that's why you can consider me a friend. Because you say shit like that, and other people be on like, I don't fuck with you. Excuse my language. That's why we don't fuck with him. I take it as that's why niggas don't like you, but I see your value as a person and as a friend, so I still choose to fuck with you. Technically, he's never done anything to harm me. That's just him saying some shit that he should have. Most people say check to yourself. Now, me, okay, how many other people may feel like I stop and talk? Yeah, like if I see somebody I know, I'm down to stop and talk. Maybe I'm back in New York where niggas don't talk no more. I don't talk a lot. Like I'm high and by, but like if if I see you and I know you, like I'm down to chill. But what I think also is, and this may come off a little arrogant or a little moxie. I'm gonna use the white term so I can feel better about it, moxie. Maybe I'm too humble. Maybe I don't want to say too humble. Maybe I'm too down to earth. And no matter what I've accomplished and what I do and what I'm seen as, I still try to be, I feel like if I know you before anything, I still know you. If I still, you'll be surprised, and I'm not saying this is him, but you'll be surprised at how people value themselves. People who with lower self-esteem, and I'm not saying this about that person, period. I'm not saying this about this person. I just happen to notice that if people don't feel good about themselves and you hanging around that person, they'd be like, who are you? If I don't feel like Pac said in Juice, if I ain't shit, you ain't shit. Excuse my language, but if I don't think highly of myself, or I feel like I'm not a good person, if I feel like I'm not a good person and you hanging out with me, then you must not be a good person. And then they devalue you. I'm just the type of person I know, I know I have a lot of accolades. I know I have a lot of positions. I know that I've accomplished certain things. I'm not rich, That's kind of seemed to be the missing. I feel like my health is still missing. I'm ready to lose, I'm going to lose some weight. But like, just because I see the value in you. I learned this a long time ago about myself. I learned that even if I see a value in a person, it doesn't mean that they see that value in themselves. And even if you may not think that you're worth something or somebody's bigger than you, that doesn't necessarily mean that I devalue you. A lot of handsome men like me because I don't hate on them. I still see them as a person. I don't get jealous, and I don't hate on handsome, successful men. And they feel comfortable around me because they could just be themselves around me. I don't know if I should say pause at that or not. But I also noticed that people feel like you're here with me, so who are you? And to me, that's backwards thinking. Where the thought should be, oh, you've done all this and you're hanging out with me, I must be special too. Or some of them, I just don't like you like that. Why are you talking to me? I don't like you. It could be anything. It could be anything, Number 10. And we can talk more on maybe, this is a top 10 list, but we reached number 10 and I could add some other things on if you like. Or if you have any questions, or if you want me to go through the 10 again, but just like, let me know. I have more confidence in my own decision making in my own path. I trust myself more. I trust my choices. I trust my inner instincts, even when things are not aligning. Just because the path is more rocky and more troubling, or it could be too good to be true, too easy. Learn to trust your inner instinct. Learn to adjust that when troubles come, you'll be able to pivot when it's time to pivot, when you need to pivot. I think, was this Willy Wonka? No, this was the movie Better Off Dead. If anybody remember that old 80s movie Better Off Dead, or you could look it up on YouTube. One of the stars of the movie was the guy Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. This is old 80s stuff. So if you're not 40 something, if you're not 45 up, because these movies came out when I was a small kid. So if you're not 50 plus, but I think it was called Better Off Dead. And the guy was asking the main character of the movie, which was a weirdo, for some advice. And he was going down, like, he was skiing. He was going down the slope. But he was asking him for advice. Where to go? Where's he skiing to? And he said, go straight. Go as fast, go as hard as you can. And when something gets in your way, turn. And that's how we have to treat life. We have to set a goal. Even if we don't know the ultimate goal, what's beyond the next goal. We may not know the ultimate goal, but we may understand the next goal. And even if we don't understand our ultimate goal, sometimes we need to go, we need to handle our business. Sometimes we need to be patient. Go back to the other one. Know when to be patient and know when to push hard. But we need to go. We need to trust our instincts. We need to trust our direction. We need to understand that. I was telling somebody today, just because you know the time doesn't mean you can speed it up. All right, if you say you want to have this done in a year, that doesn't mean that every minute, every hour is going to be fast. Some hours are going to be slow. Sometimes we need to just go, whether we go as hard and fast as we can, or whether there's certain situations where we got to have the precision of a surgeon and take our time and be slow. But we got to trust ourselves when something get in our way, whether we got to run through it and bust through it, or whether we got to just turn and maneuver and go around it. Well, that's when it's time to turn. But we got to trust ourselves. We got to trust our instincts. We got to build our skills. And I learned that with balancing patience and aggressiveness when it needs to be done, trust your instincts. Develop your instincts. Listen to the right audiobooks. Talk to yourself. Plan, strategize. Planning and strategize is not to have control. Planning and strategizing is not to have control. Planning and strategizing and gathering information and being organized is so that when obstacles pop up, when pushback happens, you can pivot, you can move instinctively because you've already planned. So when the troubles come, when the turbulence start, you already have an idea what to do next because you've already trained yourself. So those are the top 10. Let me just run through them real fast for all of you. And if you have any questions, or if you want to just start talking, and then from there we can start adding more, because there's more than 10. I just wanted to do 10. I almost did 3. I almost did 5. And then I said, after 10, what are you going to do next? 20? So gratitude. I've learned to be more grateful, not in the sense of, oh, Africa poor, America's rich. No, I've actually become more appreciative of my life pre-moving to Ghana, pre-moving to Africa, in terms of relationships, in terms of what was going right for me in America. I have a funny story, but it's not. Let's quick interlude, quick funny story. And this is totally contradicting what I just said, but it's just a funny story that I'm going to share this story for life. And I'm going to tell the raw story first. And if anybody don't understand the raw story, then I'll explain it a little more. I was in New York. I was 1 block away from my house. I was 1 street away from my home here in the United States. And it was raining and I had my umbrella. And I said to myself, all right, as soon as you get home, make sure to plug in all your phones and everything because you don't know when the lights are going to go. And then I said to myself, oh, snap. I'm in New York. The lights are not going to go out. You know, God forbid an earthquake happens or a worldwide blackout happens right now. But anyway, but only because I remember that story, I'm going to share that story. But yeah, before you want to move to Africa, before you want to move to Ghana, before you want to leave any location or any destination, just take a quick inventory of what's going right for you, of the good things, because it's the good things that you can take with you, whether it's memories, whether it's emotions, whether it's skills. And if for any reason you have to go back, whether it's to visit, understand that some of these things will still be waiting for you when you get home. For me, it was family and friends. For me, it was my apartment. The fact that I have a nice little apartment here. I have a cool little apartment. All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's 7 or 8. It's not. My apartment is cool. I miss my mom. I miss my sister. I miss my family. I miss my friends. Like, I had a good American life before I left and moved to Ghana. I'm back in my American routine right now, and I'm remembering every day. I'm like, damn, my life is all right here. I'm doing all right here. As of this moment, I just don't have as much money as I had back in 2018, 19, 20, and 21. That's all I'm lacking right now. Acceptance of my real life. Again, this is piggybacking off of number 1. But I have to accept, like, all right, this is your life. This is the life you was living out there. This is the life you're living here. You're not going to see a lot of your true transitions and your true changes until you change your location. So a lot of times when people move, the location move not itself is not going to change them. They're not going to change until they get to the location. And then sometimes you're not going to notice all your changes until you go to another place. Sometimes it's going back, but a lot of time we make going back synonymous as going back to the hood or going back to gang life or something like that. I haven't really seen a lot of my changes until I got back to the United States. A lot of people, you're going to move from one state to the next state, and you're not going to see a lot of internal changes until you go somewhere else. It could be for a vacation. It could be for a short stay. It could be a long stay. So a lot of you have changed, but you need to change your location in order to see where you've changed. Number 3, understanding of life's narratives. And I can't push this one home enough. Unfortunately, in the real world, villains win much more than heroes. Evil triumphs good more often than you think. And sometimes, not even sometimes, you have to understand, if you choose to take the moral high ground like I choose to, if you choose to be the mature person, most of the times, like I was finding myself doing even when I wasn't ready, but even now where I'm more conscious about it, now it was a difference in the past where it's strange. I'm still developing some of these ideas, because what YouTube likes to do, YouTube likes to take a person's point of view and they sit and then they think about all the other alternative ways, and then they be like, you're wrong. I'm not a yes, no person. I'm not a this or that person. We live in a world where there's a multitude of options. YouTube would take one person's belief and experience and then say that there's 6 other ways to look at it, therefore you're wrong. You have to be careful of that. So with that being said, at one time, I naively believed that good should always prevail. Taking the high road is better than taking the low road. But now I firmly understand that the villains win more than heroes. Bad triumphs over good more than you can imagine. And now I still choose to be good by choice. No one's perfect. You could point out a mistake. You could point out irresponsibility, but very rarely you can, very, very, very rarely you could point at me and can legitimately say he was being crazy. You could say he was being neglectful. You could say he was being wrong. No. No. You can't say he's being evil. You can say, how do I say it right? You can say what he did was evil. You can say what he did was wrong. You can say what he was doing neglectful. You can't say he purposely did that shit. I'm proud to say I'm a good person at my core. Personal growth. At first in my notes, I have stronger, tougher, more innovative. But again, I like the fact that I'm softer now. I'm not as hard. I used to be very harsh. I used to be very stern. I used to be very unforgiving. Borderline cruel. Not cruel in a bad way, but I was very like, I don't know, I didn't understand. I'm glad that now, I've learned to be a lot more softer. And I've had my testosterone check. I have high testosterone for my age. I have high testosterone for my age. So I'm not just getting soft because I'm old and I got low T. Self-awareness. I used to think this or that, thinking either that person was evil or I'm a horrible person and depressed. No, I learned to be balanced. I learned to say both, and I learned, it could be 70-30, it could be 50-50, it could be 60-40, it could be 90-10. Every situation is different. Patience and timing. Learning when you need to strike while the iron is hot and when you need to be patient and calm and wait for the time to be right. Emotional resilience. I handle disappointment and conflict, with much more composure than I've done before. And go with this one, emotional resilience. I've also, and me talking about being more. I think I skipped over one. Did I skip over one? Anyway, I didn't skip over. I just misplaced a term. I'd rather develop the skill of being able to recover from hurt and heartbreak than to be cold and to be checked out emotionally. I used to be synonymous in relationships with friends, family, with checking out emotionally. I prefer to learn how to be hurt, to learn how to be disappointed, and to forgive and to grow and develop and to be healed rather than being old and stern. Not saying to be a fool, not saying to run into the same mistakes over and over again, not saying to be naive, not saying to be, a dummy fool. Just saying that I'd rather be able to, what they say, it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. I'd rather be open-hearted and learn how and have the skill of being able to heal effectively than to just be closed and cold. Again, that's not an excuse to be stupid, child. That's not an excuse to be stupid. Number 8, clarity is on purpose. I now understand which relationships, projects, and commitments deserve my energy and which do not. And I believe that clarity comes from being able to clearing out a lot of my own self-talk and a lot of my own personal challenges. The time that I spent in Ghana, the full time that I spent in Ghana, again, I have not left Ghana permanently. Came home. I just came home for a significant amount of time, maybe about a year or so. I'll be here, a year plus, and then when I go back, there's no guarantee that I go straight back to Ghana. Maybe I might spend some time traveling the world again and making America back my home base. Maybe I just check into Ghana every once in a while. Maybe I move to another country. Maybe I go to a school in another country. I don't know. I won't know what my next steps is in terms of my international life until next. But I can only say that because I'm more clear on my priorities. I have a plan and I've been executing my plan even when things come up. I caught malaria. I haven't even talked about that in detail yet. I caught a malaria bat and they messed me up here in the United States. I didn't see that coming and I had to adjust. And, and there's blessings that came out of it, but it's also been a challenge. Number 9, appreciate the small moments. Notice the subtle gestures, small victories and moments. Also notice the little slick shit people say. Notice the little things that, like most people wouldn't say to you, but some hater or just some friend with their own bad qualities. Like you might have a friend who don't have a filter, and most people could be like, "Yo, I don't like that person," because they say jokes or they say mean things that other people won't say to you. But you may be the person that may say, "Yo, like they said that," but how many people think that about you? That mean person is the one who said it. The mean person said it. But how many people don't say it to you? They say it behind your back. Because no matter how many people smile in your face, there's just as many people smiling behind, talking shit behind your back. A lot of people may smile in your face. Those are the same people talking stuff behind your back. I think I got a lesson that right before I left Ghana. It was this guy. Everybody think he cool. I thought he was cool too, but then I started noticing he did it to me too. He smile in your face, but he do sneaky stuff behind people's back. And one day he's going to catch up with that person. I won't be around. Literally, I won't physically be around. I'll be in America. I'll be somewhere else. But when that happens to him, when they start catching up to him, I don't know if he's going. I don't think he could. I don't think he's gonna. I think it's in his nature. I don't think he'll stop before it catch up to him. And again, confidence in your path. Confidence in my path. I trust myself more. I learned how to have more direction. This was the last one I did before, so I ain't gonna review it too long. But I have more confidence in my path. I strategize better. I plan better. Again, I'm more strategic. I understand more. I have more skills. So I have more confidence in my path because even when I can't see the way fully forward, I know how to maneuver and I know how to build as I go along. And even though I don't know where my ultimate goal is, I have a lot of checkpoints and mini goals that I'm working towards with extreme confidence, also knowing that my long-term confidence is there. I don't have to leave, but if there are any questions, anything that anybody want to hear, anything that anybody like, anything that people don't like, anything you want me to talk more about before I go. I hope the sound is good. I hope it's not too many issues. Last time I had some sound issues with the YouTube, but I think that what the sound issues was I had some background sound. So whenever it blocked out any background sound, it also blocked out me when I was talking at the same time. TikTok, what's up? Any questions, any comments before I go? Any questions, any comments before I go? YouTube, any questions, any comments before I go? All right, I did well. I think what I was on for like, let me see how long I was on for before I go. I think I was on for like 2 hours, maybe even 3. I think I was on for about 2 hours, maybe 3. Yeah, I was on 2+ hours ago. All right, y'all. Peace. Let me get off of YouTube first. Peace, YouTube. Get used to it.